Alright, so this is my sociology final project. Module 1, we learned about things that impact major life decisions. My family has impacted my hobbies and my life in the church. My school has impacted my friends and who I hang out with, as well as grown my knowledge for future job decisions. My friends have impacted what I do on the weekends and how I spend my leisure time. Many people may not consider what you do on the weekends a major life decision, but it's the only free time I have, so I enjoy it. And lastly, myself, I get the final say-so in what I do. I do what's best for me, which is why I consider me as a major life decision impact. Module 2, we interviewed people from different cultures. I interviewed a nice woman by the name of Felicia Clements from Punta Gorda, Belize, and I was very interested by what I interviewed and asked her some questions. I asked her what she found similar between the U.S. culture and the Belize culture. She said there weren't very many similarities, but schools taught a secondary language, and the U.S. and Belize really value family, which I found very interesting. Differences would be, going back on the family part, children live with families into adulthood. Found it really interesting because if you live with your parents into adulthood in United States culture, you could be considered a failure. Sports are not common in Belize because they do not have the financial money for that. And lastly, there are lots of outside markets where farmers sell food. She said there aren't any places such as Costco or Kroger. And lastly, I asked her what she misses most about not being home in Belize. She said she misses family very much, which makes sense because of how much she said they value family. She also misses home-cooked meals such as her mom's caldo soup, which is basically a beef soup. Module 3, we learned about different things that shaped who we are as a person. On the right, the younger photo is Charles Horton Cooley, who is a sociologist who developed a theory called the looking glass self, which basically stated individuals develop the concept of self by observing how they are perceived by others. In the top right is George Herbert Mead, a sociologist who developed a theory called social behaviorism, which is basically when people develop self-images through interactions with people. There are 7 agents of socialization which shape who we are as a person: family, peer groups, school, workplace, religion, government, and mass media. So my peer groups have shaped, or my family to start, they shaped my personality and taught me to worship Christ. My peer groups have shaped me to be more outgoing and taught me that change is okay. School has shaped me by growing my knowledge for the future and impacting what I could do in the future, and has influenced me to play high school baseball, which takes up most of my time. The workplace has taught me that people make mistakes. As an umpire, you may miss a few calls and people will berate you. And going on that has taught me values like respect. I respect people when they make mistakes at times. And religion has taught me that life on earth prepares me for heaven, so I try to enjoy my life on earth to the fullest of my ability. And it's influenced me to go to church every Sunday. I look forward to going to church every Sunday. And government has taught me values like freedom. It's taught me norms like respecting authority figures. You may not agree with the president, and that's okay. I might not either, but I still respect him because he's running the country we live in today. So I gotta believe in him, believe that what he does is the best for me and for everybody in this country. And lastly, mass media. It taught me not to talk to strangers because it could be a fake identity. And going on that, it's taught me values like authenticity, which people are considered fake sometimes on the internet. I think it's really important to be yourself and who you are on the internet. Module 4, we learned about statuses and roles. There are 2 types of statuses. achieved and ascribed. Achieved status is something you earn. So an achieved status of mine would be being a straight A student. And next one is an ascribed status, which is basically something that you're born into, and that is an ascribed status of me would be being a brother. And there are roles that go along with statuses. So a role of me being a student would be doing my work, studying, participating in class discussions and stuff like that. And some roles of me being a brother would be protecting my sister, doing the dishes, taking out the trash, respect parents. And we also learned about primary and secondary groups of like who you hang out with. And primary groups is basically who you see all the time, should be my family and my friends. My secondary group is normally a task-based, small time amount of seeing them. So that would be my boss and my teachers. So in Module 5 we learned about deviance. Deviance is a violation of contextual, cultural, or social norms. There are 7 deviance theories. They are conflict theory, control theory, cultural deviance theory, differential association theory, labeling theory, social disorganization theory, and strain theory. Something I do that may be considered deviance is swearing or cussing. I say this because not many people my age cuss, or at least cuss around adults. So a theory I applied to my deviance would be the labeling theory, because once adults label my behavior as theory, or my behavior as deviance, I still kept doing it because there was no reason to change it, because they already knew that I swore. In Module 6, we learned about social mobility, which is the ability to change positions in the social stratification system. There are 5 predictors of social mobility made up by Dr. Chetty, who can be seen in the top right, and he works at Harvard. The 5 predictors are segregation, income inequality, quality of public schools, strength of social network, and fraction of single parents. In my town where I live in Jefferson County, there is a high segregation. There is a 0.49 income inequality according to the GINI calculation. There are poor schooling systems, I think due to the fact of how many schooling systems there are. I think that they minimize the schools and put more money into less schools. I think it'd be way better. I think there's about an average social network. Most people know each other, but you know how that is. I'd say actually slightly mid to above average. And lastly, 39% of kids in Jefferson County were growing up in a single parent household, which is a recipe for disaster that starts kids off as not a good thing, I guess you could say. So putting that all together, my chances to get to the top 20% are okay. Basically, that's all I can say, okay. Module 7. Module 7, we learned about race and ethnicity. So I start by saying my race is white. My ethnicity official title is Caucasian. In our world today, sadly, race can determine advantages or disadvantages. Race has shaped my life in ways such as being treated better than other people. I hate when this happens because I really feel secondhand embarrassment even though I'm sort of having an advantage. I wish that people would sort of treat me the same as others, and I wish that others be treated the same as me. And it's also shaped my life because most of my friends are white. I think it's just a natural thing. You hang out with people who are your skin color. So I feel like you bond with them better unintentionally, but that's how you're taught, or that's how you see as a young child from an early age. Lastly, Module 8. We learned about gender, sexuality, your sex, and gender roles, and a lot of LGBTQ type stuff. My gender I identify as a male. My sex, I identify as a male. A male symbol can be seen in the top right corner of the blue. My sexuality is heterosexual. You see in the bottom left, that is a sign for it. And which basically means I like girls. It's kind of normal in our society because we are sort of seen as if you don't come out, you're basically heterosexual. And lastly, thing I'm going to talk about is gender roles. Being a male, one of my roles is to be, or one of my viewed roles is to be viewed as tough and a hard worker. I do a lot of yard work. I do a lot of umpiring so I can get my money to go to a gym. At the gym, I like to work out a lot. My favorite muscle workout would be biceps and legs. I just like getting that pump so you can feel strong and tough. It's kind of just a male instinct, I guess. I don't know any other way to explain it than that. And that'll be it. So I would like to say thank you for teaching this class, and I look forward to taking many more classes at CU. Thank you.